Welcome back to Gemstone Podcast. I go by LP and I have Chy with me today. Zach couldn't be with us today. Before we get started, please make sure you go like and share our podcast on various platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Anchor, Pandora Podcasts, and also YouTube and Amazon Podcasts. If you want to send us fan mail like you guys love to do, or you want to come on and be a guest on the podcast, send us an email at our gmail.com, which is gemstonepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's gemstonepodcast@gmail.com. Chy, how you doing today, girl?
I am doing well. I am doing well, preparing to go head out and meet some family. Glad to be back here on the Gemstone Podcast, y'all. Y'all, we've been doing our thing, being consistent. Yeah, we just been, man. I just see some great things for the Gemstone.
Yes, sir. Now, our recent
See
episode
some
that
great things.
no, seriously, because we just had a guest on. I think we got two guests in the hole that want to come on. When I say whole, like that's mean like
Mm-mm.
currently trying to, pick time and dates to record those segments. So it's gonna be a great year for us this year. I think this year we're gonna kind of going to expand and kind of, find out. We already found our niche, I should say. But I think now, as far as
Mm-hmm.
the exposure aspect, I think this year is gonna be very, very great. But besides all that, what you got for me today, girl?
It's definitely true. That's definitely true. And y'all, we gonna have a guest on soon that's gonna be something out of this world, y'all. Y'all ain't gonna be prepared for this guest. Y'all not gonna be prepared. I'm not even prepared. I'm just intrigued on what she gonna say. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay tuned. We gonna be it's gonna be a little different than our normal. But anyways, guys, so yeah, thank y'all for being back. Today, I want to talk about MAGA Barbie. That's what social media is calling her. Nicki Minaj is now considered MAGA Barbie. Now, how can I put this? I'm a Nicki Minaj fan. Always have been. Came across Nicki Minaj's music on YouTube in '07. I think I was in the seventh or eighth grade. And ever since then, I liked her because it was something different about her. And at that time, of course, we did not have a lot of female rappers that were mainstream, and there was just something about her that I just liked it. So I've been a fan for 20 years at this point. And I'm not gonna lie, her recent actions are disappointing. They're not making me a fan anymore. I cannot lie. I'm still a fan of hers. Will I be supporting her going forward? That's up for debate. I'm still on the fence with that, but I think I definitely will no longer be, you know, I've been to two Nicki Minaj concerts. Don't think I'm going to a third one, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get into some things. They call her the MAGA Barbie because recently she was at. So the first thing that happened was, she's been, Nikki honestly has been on somewhat of a downward spiral these last couple of years for whatever reason. I'm not even going to bring up her husband at this point because I don't think he is the meat and potato of her downward spiral. Like I feel like she is not coping, number one, even though in essence she still is the queen of rap. She's still number one. But now and I feel like something psychologically may be wrong with her because make no mistake, Nicki Minaj ushered in a whole generation of female rappers. That is not up for debate. People can say what they want to say, but there was no mainstream female rappers in that prior to her. It was a gap. She filled that space and she ushered in. So yes, these bitches are her sons. That is correct. But you would think that would be enough for her to be like, you know what, my legacy is stamped in history. Nobody will ever do it like me, and that is federal facts. Her legacy is stamped in history, but for some odd reason, I don't know if it's insecurity. I don't know if it's hurt. I don't know what it is, but she's just been on a downward spiral. And honestly, she's been coming off her throne too much, especially to address things that don't mean nothing. Let the work speak for itself, regardless of who's out and popular. when she drops something, she still surpasses. So there's no need to even, and I get it. We're gonna get into that with the industry and why I feel like she's hurt and all that stuff. So Nicki Minaj was at Turning Point USA. If you don't know what that is, that's Charlie Kirk's organization. Charlie Kirk has passed away. So his wife now is pretty much continuing his legacy with his organization. So Nikki was there and she was speaking to them, and some of her rhetoric was very interesting. She made a comment that you should not have to dumb yourself down or lower yourself because you have blonde hair and blue eyes for someone. We're all beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But it was she basically pandering to them because that's one of the whole keys of Turning Point is white. We can have white pride too. We can love ourselves, but no one said you can't love yourself. The thing about it is the reason why we hear Nicki Minaj, you need to educate yourself. Love you down, sister, but you are ignorant, especially when it comes. But you know what? I don't even. I think you truly know what you're doing, and that's the scariest part because I think you truly get the grasp of what you're doing, and you're doing it on purpose. But we're gonna get to that. So I don't think you're dumb at all. Like history has shown us that you are very intelligent. So she knows exactly what she's doing. So she's at a turning point. So here's the thing, like the whole concept of black is beautiful, the whole concept of loving the skin we're in, that came from us not having representation in mainstream media. Back in the days, we were even now, the United States or European view of beauty is a white woman with a thin white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. And Nicki Minaj, that's not you. If anything, and you a big black woman. Nicki Minaj is not a slim lady like she used to be. Nicki Minaj, she a thicky thick. She got some pounds on her. So you don't even represent any of this that you were speaking at this turning point event. So that was like very interesting. So I knew from that event that we were going somewhere with this. I knew you was gonna announce MAGA after that. So then after Turning Point, she started posting the White House, her Chucky meme, and now she MAGA. So after that, she sat down with another news reporter, same banter, and now her last stint, she was with Trump, and she was my handsome, dashing president. You're saying all this, but the girlies are saying you're not even a United States citizen. Like you were born in Trinidad and Tobago. You came to America when you were 5 years old. So you're not even a United. Well, technically, she is a United States citizen. No, because she's married to a citizen. But they say that you do not get citizenship if you're married to a felon. Lance, you might can look that up while we're here. But they say that legally, you are still not granted citizenship if you marry a felon in the United States. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what I was seeing. If that is the case, Nicki Minaj is still not a felon. So still not a United States citizen. But we're getting to the reason why she's doing this. All right. So she's Magna Minaj now. Hey, president. Like she's all a fan of Trump all of a sudden. When years ago you was totally against Trump. You even was on a tour on stage talking bad about his wife. Yeah, y'all men, y'all want to prosper in life, y'all want to do well, y'all need to get y'all a Michelle, get you a Alicia, get you this and that. But instead, y'all want to go marry a Melania. You literally said she was the scum of the shoot on live on stage. This is not even 10 years ago. Now all of a sudden, you at the Amazon Melania documentary release. We ain't seen Melania walk and talk or say a motherfucking thing since she been back in that motherfucker. What the hell does she need a documentary for? What is she gonna tell us? What is Melania doing for this country? Nothing. We don't even know how she sound no more. When the last time Melania even said a word on a press conference? Yet you attending this event. So Nikki, you're full of it. You're full of it. And I know why you're doing this. All right. So great. Now let me just say this. You are 100% okay with being a a Trump supporter. We all have free will. You may support whoever you want to support, but that is not the problem. The problem is that they are using you. They are using you for your influence, for your culture, your wealth, and everything that you have attributed to culture, to hip hop culture, to African American culture, and your fan base and the things you bring. They're using you for that, and you're using them as well. But the only problem is, Nikki, them the government using you, mega using you. They're using you for your culture and your influence, and you're using them right back for several things. And I caught that. See, you using them too. But the only thing about white supremacy, when you get into bed with them and you become their shoe shiner and you benefit off of them, they always come out on top in the end. So I wish you the best, sister, when it comes to your allegiance with MAGA. But history has shown us aligning with white supremacy never works out well for anyone. And that's just the God honest truth. Aligning with white supremacy never truly works out well for anyone. So yeah.
So I did look that up, Shaw, when it talked about citizenship. If you're married to a felon, it says, yes, you generally can still obtain U.S. citizenship or a green card if married to a felon, as the spouse's criminal record does not automatically disqualify you. However, the felon's history, especially if it involves violence, fraud, or sexual offenses against a minor, can significantly complicate the petition and require careful professional legal aid. So she can get citizenship, but due to his crime being that it was, sexual with a minor, it'll make it more difficult from what it sounds like from reading that statement. I don't know if she has it or not. I don't even know if that's public record to look up if someone has U.S. citizenship or not due to what we currently have taking place in our country with ICE and how they just, they touch down in the city or a state, it's up. So I don't know, but it did say that, she could potentially get it, but with him being a felon, it'll make it very difficult.
So back to that part, right? So since she's been married, and she's been married to him for a long time at this point, at least about 7 or 8 years. Since she's been married to him, she's been having people come into her house, their neighborhood. She lives in a very affluent neighborhood in California. I think she's moved twice. All this is a public record, mind you. A lot of these affluent neighborhoods, first of all, they don't even want your black behind there, and your black behind with a felon in there too. So they have caused a lot of problems for her in her neighborhood that she's lived in. And just like when he was arrested like 2 years ago, because they were staying in New York for an extended period of time. Don't know why they were there, but I mean, I'm sure Nikki has a house in New York. So they were living in New York for like, I don't know, maybe a year or so or less. And they arrested him because he did not register as a sex offender in New York. Even though he's from New York, his crime was in New York, but he did not register in New York. And before we get into those details as well, let me make this clear. Kevin Petty, Nicki Minaj's husband, is not a pedophile. He is not a pedophile. He's not a pedophile. He's not a pedophile. I see that rhetoric online. I just want to say it's not cool to paint a black man as a pedophile when he's not a pedophile. He's not a pedophile. Is he a criminal? Yes. Is he a drug dealer? Yes. Is he a bottom of the barrel citizen when it comes to viewpoints? Yes. But he's not a pedophile. He is not a pedophile. His victim at the time that the incident happened, he was 16 years old and she was 17 years old. So yes, he did attempt to rape someone, but it was not a child. It was a fellow high school student in the same. Well, from what they say, he had already dropped out of high school, but it was a fellow student that he was in prior involvement with. So he's not a pedophile. Do no still mean no MF, but he's not a pedophile. So I just want to clear that up. All right, so getting into that. So I was gonna add to the point where, Nicki, like I said, Nicki Minaj is not from America. Her parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. She came to America as a child. She moved to Queens, New York, and she grew up in New York during the crack epidemic. So she did not have the easiest upbringing. And so a lot of Caribbean black people, because you still got them African in your DNA. Even though you're not from America, you're not technically, she's not African American. She is Caribbean American technically, but you're still a part of this lineage of people that was either dropped off to that land or migrated. You're still a part of our lineage, Nicki Minaj. But a lot of Caribbean people, a lot of Caribbean African descendants, a lot of African descendants, a lot of look down on black people. And that's the honest to God truth. You hear all the time. We discussed this before. Me and Zach. How Burner Boy, which I like Burner Boy, but that was his strike too with me. Burner Boy got one more time to say something crazy about black people. Burner Boy is a Nigerian, he's not American. He's from Nigeria. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know what to call it, but he's a European, Nigerian European, because I believe Burner Boy was raised in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, he's from Nigeria. He's made a comment that black people don't have culture, African Americans, yet he on the block in New York with Timberland boots on, with a Sean John outfit on, cosplaying late 90s, early 2000s rapper, and you trying to say black people don't have culture. When literally every cool thing in America was invented by black people, even a stoplight. So how can you say black people don't have culture? So going back to Nicki, a lot of Caribbean Americans, especially those that were brung up in a rough life and experienced a lot, they in their mind, they worked a lot harder than us typical African Americans did. They worked hard. They had all these things against them, and we're lazy. I've heard it to my face from people of that descent saying that kind of stuff. That's what a lot of them believe. So I think that is a part of her belief and her reasoning behind what she's currently doing now. And that ain't the entire reason, but I do think that she does have those beliefs, right? All right. Now, with that being said, she still benefited from African American culture, one being hip hop. Hip hop was created by African Americans in the Bronx, New York. She's from Queens, New York. Every mainstream female rapper is African American. So it's like Nicki at the same time, she might have her beliefs drifting, and I'm gonna say this: a lot of the beliefs are dripped in white supremacy. So a lot of them do not get their beliefs based on what they learn. They get it from white supremacy. They get it from TV. When they back in their home country, they seeing movies and depictions of black people that are white supremacy depictions. So that's where they get their viewpoints from. And so, with that being said, my last 2 points of this is that Nicki Minaj is a hurt little. She hurt, and I think she's hurt stemming from childhood, stemming from her being an immigrant coming to America, all of that stuff, and other things that happened in her lifestyle. Her father was on drugs. Well, he got on drugs when he got to America. She stemming from that. Also, in essence, in her black the industry has turned their backs on her. That's in her mind. And it's in her mind because she's said it in so many words. She thinks because she's no longer the most popular rapper, even though she is the queen of rap, undisputedly, she's not the most popular. She's not. But I mean, that's gonna happen with anybody. Anytime you've been doing something for a long time, you're gonna have ebbs and flow when you're not popular anymore. Beyonce went through the same thing. Beyonce had a whole album or two straight, but she was not that popular. But it's about longevity. It's about riding the wave, and it's about still being here. Some of these female rappers out right now that are more popular than you, Nikki, they're not going to be here in 10 years. And that's just federal facts. You have survived nearly 20 years as a female rapper, and that is unheard of. You can still drop an album. I think her last album was like 2 years ago. You can still put an album out and still do at least six figures in numbers. That is unheard of. No female rapper in the past 20 years can do that, but you. So that obviously means that your icon status beyond the mundane. But you still don't see that because something in your soul is not right. Something in your soul is insecure about who the hell you are. So you're hurt, which I get it. The industry created this plant, which is Cardi B. I'm gonna call it out. Cardi B is an industry plant. Yes, Cardi B had a large following on social media. She was funny. She went on Love and Hip Hop. But at the end of the day, the industry wanted a new rapper, mainstream, they can make money off of. That's the whole point. She's a racially ambiguous woman. She can peddle the lines between African American culture, Latino culture, and white culture. She can bounce back and forth, and that's something Nicki couldn't do. And that's another reason why Nicki is hurt. Because a lot of things that these rappers now are getting away with, Nicki could not do it. Nicki could not acknowledge having a boyfriend. She could not, back in that you could not have kids. All these rappers, Cardi B got 4 children. Times have changed. So that's another reason why Nicki is hurt, because Nicki had a harder come up in her eyes, and maybe she did, opposed to them now. But you should look at that as a salute. That should make your crown sit up even higher, because you ran so these hoes can walk. Let's be real. You ushered in this generation of women that are coming in dancing on TikTok and making hit songs. You was on YouTube on the corner rapping on a staircase. Without you, they couldn't be here. And that should be enough for you to recognize who the hell you are. But maybe some therapy might help. And another point, and I'm going a little long, y'all. I'm almost done. Another point is, you like Trump. I said this already. You was on live stage talking down about Melania. We already know Melania has a sketchy history. She was a working woman at one point in time, and that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong. A lot of you men are married to former working women, women of the night, and that's okay. No judgment zone over here. You married to a former woman of the night, that's okay. Because guess what? What's the saying? Make the best housewives. So ain't nothing wrong with it. Melania might be an amazing wife to Trump. I don't know that woman. But you were down talking her at one point in time. And now you kissing butt? Come on, Nicki. But I know why you're doing this, and that's to my last point. Nicki Minaj is very intelligent. She's very intelligent. She's always manipulating things in her favor, which can be good and bad thing. So at this point, you playing chess, not checkers, right? You have realized that we are not on your side as much as we used to be. African American people, African American culture, and especially the heavy hitter people like Beyonce, Jay Z, basically black royalty are not on your side right now. Oprah, whoever, black royalty is not on her side right now, right? Because you've talked bad about everyone, and that's why. And maybe you shouldn't have. It's freedom of speech, but if you talk bad about every single person and you attack people, and you come to people sideways, of course people are not gonna like you. Of course you're not gonna be invited to certain events. So with that being said, you realize that you kind of burn your bridge when it comes to black royalty, like as far as black people that move the needle, and you're not a man, right? So men, take Kanye West for instance. Kanye West has said some of the craziest ish, but guess what? Patriarchy benefits Kanye West. Patriarchy does not benefit you, Nicki Minaj. Women, we cannot do the same thing men do and get away with it. And that's just the world we live in. Women, we do have to kind of tweak the system in which we use, because you cannot get away with running your mouth online and talking about Jewish people or do whatever like that. Or talking about Megan or whoever you want to talk about and get away with. Kanye West could do it for years. And everybody still saying, oh, he's bipolar. Oh, he's this. No, he's not. No, he's an asshole. And yeah, he may have some medical issues wrong with him. But the bottom story is that he's an asshole. We gonna leave it at that. Few key points that I'm gonna wrap it up with. Nicki, I've been talking for a long time. Nicki can be aligning with Trump power, and he has the Senate in the House and whoever, all of them in his pocket at this point, including the staff. So guess what? Nicki is gonna benefit from aligning with him because he can move the needle for her. Nicki has been having all kind of people coming to our house doing check-ins because her husband is a sex offender. She's been experiencing that. So guess what? One simple pin move, aka a presidential pardon, will eliminate that. Nicki can travel the world with her husband. She can move back and forth. They can move how they want to do with this presidential pardon or with some type of paperwork from Donald Trump. She don't stay holding this man's hand. She playing chess, not checkers. Number two, Nicki Minaj's brother is in jail right now doing 25 years. And he's already done, I believe, roughly about 10 so far. So what if he gets a early release somehow because of good behavior? What if he got 25 years? What if he gets out in 12 years or 10 years? I think he's been there since like 14. So he's been there for 12 years. So what if he gets out in 13 years and has to do the remaining time, parole from home? I'm just saying, Nicki Minaj benefits from aligning with Trump. The third thing is Nicki Minaj is not a U.S. citizen. From what the people say, Now they say you can actually look this stuff up. I ain't did the research, but I'ma just go with saying she not. I remember Nicki back in the day. She had a documentary when she went back home to Trinidad and Tobago, and she was had her tour out there and all that stuff. And I remember her vividly saying, like, yeah, they came here. She came here illegally. So who's to say she's rich? So it would be smart to have obtained paperwork by now. But who's to say she didn't? I have a coworker who his wife was born in the Philippines. His wife dad was in the military in the Philippines, met the mama, got her pregnant, brought her back to America, and his daughter is 45 years old and is not an American citizen, has been able to live here for 45 years without any indication, any real paperwork. She went to school in America without no citizenship. All this time, just based off of, I don't know, a U.S. Work visa. I don't know how they do it, but, well, needless to say, this lady had ice knock on her door. This lady was sweating bricks. Ice knocked on this woman's door. She saw them on the ring camera. She wasn't even at home. Ice was at this lady's door, and she had to get an immigration lawyer. So who's to say if Nicki Minaj did the paperwork? We don't know that. But to wrap this up, Nicki Minaj is benefiting from aligning with Trump, and Nicki Minaj also wants power. She wants power. She wants to be untouchable. She wants those things. So aligning with white supremacy will get her there, but it will not keep her there because history has shown us white supremacy will use you in your likeness and your strange fruit. Shout out, y'all look that spoken word up. They will use you in your likeness and your strange fruit, and they will discard you once they're done. So Nikki, I see what you're doing, but just know that white supremacy always wins. When you align with them for white supremacy always wins, and when they're done with you, they discard you. So yeah, that's my topic for the day, y'all. Tell me what y'all think. Send us an email.
Lord Jesus. Now, you didn't drop several bombs on this woman, Nicki Minaj, and I'm actually kind of shocked because I know how much you like Nicki Minaj because I know you personally. You family, you my cousin. So I'm actually shocked at the things that you said today about Nicki Minaj. But I hate to say it, I'm not shocked. And I don't think that I've always said that Nicki Minaj is an individual who's looking to advance her own personal gain. And me and you have talked about this before, like, and I'm not just gonna try to get out topic, but just like with her relationships, how quick she moves on, let you know, to me, gave me insight as to the person and who she is because she was so quick to just throw them to the wolves, throw them to the wayside and move on with her life and didn't take time to, go through a healing process or try to figure things out to see if things were this, see if things that. She just, I'm done. I'm gonna do what's best for me, which lets me know she's a selfish individual. She's an individual who's only worries about self. And when you have individuals like that, they're gonna always do what's best for them. Her being with the Charlie Kirk Foundation and kind of switching her motion, because I remember a time when Nicki Minaj was playing the black card, but now she's playing this card, which, like I said, it goes back to she's going to do what's best for self. And individuals like that are dangerous because they're unpredictable. And I'm not shocked. And I think she's going to lose a lot of fans because a lot of her fans are black women and the minority women. And so I think she's gonna lose a lot of fans of this. And you mentioned something. You said, it's up for debate if you still gonna support her. But I don't think Nicki Minaj ever gonna touch a mic again. And if she does, it'll just be because she knows she messed up her fan base that she currently has with this particular population. Yeah, that's sad.
Not just black women though.
Nah, I
Gays
said
too.
minority.
Gays and white gays at that.
Yeah,
White gays push the pen in America. A lot of times. A lot of our top, heads of
it's not
companies
push
are
the
white.
pen, not push the
They
pen,
do.
y'all.
A lot of the top CEOs and things like that are LGBT in America. So if you alienating them, a lot of these Jewish lawyers are gay. So you alienating people that push a lot of pens in America. What when they had the Republican National Convention, the damn gay app had shut down because it had so many people on them. So I mean, you alienating your core fan base, which is black women and rich gays. That's your fan base. So when you get on there talking about something, oh, I ain't believing this and I ain't this and that, girl, you done messed up, sister.
Yeah. Well, I think what's also interesting though is what the Charlie Kirk Foundation stand for, because wasn't Candace Owens a part of it at one point in time, Asha?
Yeah, so Candace Owens was like, her she said her and Charlie were best friends, right? So her and Charlie was best friends at one point in time and yada 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 and stuff like that. So, but since he's passed away, it's kind of been interesting because she is kind of de-aligned herself with the organization. And honestly, with her, a lot of her views have changed as well. So whatever has happened in the background that we don't see, something has changed within Candace Owens when it comes to her allegiance with the folk. Now, what I find interesting is it's out, Nikki in, but guess what? Nikki got a larger following. Nikki can do more for them than Candace can. Clock it, clock it, clock it. Baby, Candace don't got the same following Nicki Minaj do.
That's true though.
Candace annihilated black women a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides the conservative one.
Yeah, she kind of plateaued hustling a while back when she had the back and forth with T.I. And then they had the debate in front of everybody. She kind of plateaued herself way back when. But I just feel bad that I shouldn't say feel bad, but it's just sad that Nicki Minaj is going to be a part of a scheme, because this is a scheme. Yep. This is what they normally do. Organizations that are trying to push a narrative and they're trying to get more minorities to buy into it. They always subject a individual that's a part of that community to come on and be a part of it. Yep. The sad part, and I hate to say this, and I'm gonna say it anyway because I really don't give a damn. I've been a part of way too many meetings and made too many acquisitions, contractual agreements with Caucasian white individuals. And let's say that there's an individual part of the conversation that maybe used to be a well-known athlete, a well-known entertainer, an Olympic sprinter, something like that. These white people are so oblivious to who you are that they will call you somebody else's name.
We all look alike to them.
Or say you did another sport. I literally was on a Zoom call and heard where a lady called this guy who was a basketball player. He played for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not gonna say his name. It was a white lady on the call, and she was like, "Oh, what football team did you play for?" And he was like, "Ma'am, I never played football. I played for the Dallas Mavericks." She said, "Yeah, that's a football team, right?" Mind you, they want to use this individual, this man, as a spokesperson for their business, but she didn't even know the sport in which he played.
Didn't even take the time and energy to research.
Didn't even take the time to get to know who he is, to research him, to look him up, to see if he was in the Hall of Fame or if he is a point leader. None of that. Just automatically, isn't it that? And I respected for what he said, and I respected what he said because I was on the call. He was like, "Well, you know what? I don't think I want to be a part of this because you don't even know who I am. You just want to use me for my likeness and my color." And she was like, "Oh, no, never." And he left. And I respected that because he had integrity. But this just shows that, Nicki Minaj don't have, when it comes to the integrity, she might not have it. And this proves that because you're aligning yourself for the organization. God rest Charlie Kirk's soul, but his organization talked very negatively about the Black community.
And also, 9 people have died this year due to the ice raids in Big Beautiful Bill.
And that's another thing. Like, come on, man. Like,
you're aligning with people that are trying to gather your people up. So your cousins them that's in this country that ain't legal, what did they get gathered up, Nikki?
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
No, it's the truth. And the one thing you did say though, Shy, is, and I've said this a few times, when it comes to Black minorities who come from different countries, they do like to align themselves with white ideology, which is confusing to me. And at times they are treated a little bit better than the American blacks. And so I think because you get that treatment that you think that you're somewhat maybe like that you're somewhat better, somewhere that you have, more value or more something to put or something to give to this country. But the message that needs to be understood is that you're a pawn. When they're done with you, they will throw you away. I'm going to say it again. I've been in too many meetings, too many acquisitions, too many contractual agreements, too many mergers where I've seen where the blacks get the lower end of the stick and those who are African, Nigerian, Puerto Rican, whatever it may be, it would appear that you're okay until 6 months, a year down the line, you're being used and then you're let go. And now you're running back to those who you once spit on, asking for help and asking for guidance, and you wonder why we don't give it. And we wonder why we don't give it. Well, that's why, because we were trying to tell you, hey man, this is what they're gonna do. But you were listening to them throwing salt on black individuals. Because I've heard it. Oh, black people are lazy, they don't want to work. Oh, they're this, they're that. You don't come from this country, so you're not like that. But they're using you.
They can groom
using you. They're using you, and then you become like a plant, a spy for them, where you come and report and tell things, and then you're being used because when they're done with you, they're gonna throw you away too.
Yep, once they're done grooming you.
And unfortunately, this is what's gonna happen to Nicki Minaj. When they're done using her, they're gonna throw her away too. And then she gonna be on what's it called now? X. She gonna be on X. Trying to tell y'all what's happening behind the scenes. Well, this is what they did, and this and blah 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 blah.
I ain't heard from Trump in 2 months.
And I already see what's about to happen.
Because they do it to their own people. They try to discard Elon Musk. Once they was done with him, helping him steal the election, they try to get rid of him. They don't want him on that cabinet for real.
Oh, Mojo Jojo. That's what you got.
Mojo Jojo. Once they use you, they try to get rid of you too. Then they got scared because you started running your mouth too damn.
Yeah. But he got way more money. See, that's the thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew they couldn't bully him because he can hire his own private detail just like y'all. Y'all can get to go to war. So they didn't want to do that. He caught that boy Mojo Jojo.
He looks like Mojo Jojo, but he wants world dominant.
We know how this gonna end, and it's sad that it's gonna end like that, but we know how it's gonna end.
Sure do.
Unfortunately, that Nicki Minaj is gonna find herself in a bad situation. But hey, man,
they're gonna be like black people. But guess what, Nicki? You is not Kanye. Black men, they got a benefit. They can go back and forth and try this and try that. We can't do that.
Yeah,
we don't got that same privilege.
That's true. I ain't gonna lie.
Look at Rick Ross and Snoop Dogg. They all perform Trump thing, and guess what? They ain't nobody said about that since then.
And they not.
But they're gonna be talking about your ass for a long time. Look at even with you beefing with different rappers. 50 Cent didn't beef with everybody. Like they don't even. Jay-Z didn't beef with people. They don't even talk about that stuff. She ain't doing nothing different than other people have done. But yeah, it's still a double standard because you're a woman. Jay-Z didn't beef with people, all that stuff. East Coast, West Coast, but nobody talking about that. But your ass, they still talking about you talking about Megan. They still talking about you coming at Lotto, calling Lotto old for no damn reason. Baby girl, you do not benefit from patriarchy, okay? Women, we do not benefit from patriarchy. So you might think you could do it, but you're not. You will be reprimanded for this behavior. Sorry, unfortunately, it's the world we live in.
Yeah, that's facts.
This behavior, you and your husband that just cost you $500,000 because he wanted to whoop somebody's butt, and that man sued y'all, and they told you if you don't pay that money up, they're gonna seize your Calabasas property. So you had to pay $500K. Now we know your husband used to be a drug dealer, but I doubt he had $500K lying around to go pay some damn money. I doubt he did.
Well,
you got to come out your purse. Now, once you start, listen, women. Once a man start costing you money and causing you repairs and stuff like that, get rid.
And you fellas, you get rid of these women who ain't supportive.
Once they start causing you too many problems, get rid of them.
Get rid of the.
He didn't whoop somebody, and you got to pay the man $500,000. You ain't even touched the man. Get rid of him. He crazy. Well, y'all, that was it for this episode. We're going to close it out. Thank y'all guys for watching. It's been about a good close to an hour, so that was good. So, Y'all can follow us on all our social media platforms. Gemstone Podcast. Send us an email. If you want to be a sponsor for our show and send us merchandise, whether it's candles, clothing, anything like that, let us know. We open to sponsorship. We will promote your stuff on our social medias, on our podcast. We will scratch your back, you scratch our back. So send us an email if you want to come and be a guest on the show. Let us know, and we're going to talk to y'all soon.